Good morning, people popping in. Getting all set up. All right. Over here. Yeah, so good morning, people popping in. This is my welcome to my morning study session. And lately we've been doing a bunch of Blender stuff to kind of start off my day. Things I want to learn better. And yeah, so I am Peter SAKIEVICH, artist, arts educator, and teach at university. We start the semester this week. So it's hopefully some fun classes to teach with some good students. Interested to see what happens and what the situation will be like. But and I also teach online at myartprofessor.com, where I try to take the things that I've seen really challenge students in my classroom and make it easier for people to actually master. And it's a place where I can kind of put that out beyond my classroom to everybody else. So this is a Blender sculpt. So I've wanted to kind of get more into being more Blender, I guess, fluent would be the word. And so I did a recent project where I did a bust of a lizard head, and I want to put myself through not just the sculpting, but some of the basic retopology, UV, and texturing that was in there, just because I haven't really done that in Blender before. Done it other places, but just not here. And so, similar project with this guy, where I want to spend about an hour and a half a day and kind of get gradually better at the sculpting part, working off of my references on the screen up above. And then, in addition to the things I was doing there, I'm doing a full body sculpt, and then I'm also going to obviously re-topologize it, UV it, texture it, but I also want to get him some of the hair stuff. So currently just working on trying to finish up the sculpt. We need to add his tail in, clean up his shoulder blade. We were working a bunch on the forelegs last time. And yeah, that's where we're at. And people sometimes ask, like, why do something realistic like this? And as opposed to, like, doing a dragon or something kind of more imaginative. And I think there's definitely something to be said for something to be said for looking at the real world and trying to embed the real things that are out there into your process, into your mind, because the real world has so much more detail and texture and authenticity and development in it than you could ever just have natively in your imagination. Maybe it's just me. And so, so for me, it's like working on this, like I'm learning to understand the leg anatomy better, and the way that forms kind of inject into each other, and there's things that maybe I maybe would have stumbled into eventually on my own, but because I'm actually looking at a real animal and trying to sculpt it, then I'm actually kind of coming closer to really understanding it. So, so that's one of the reasons why I like to, as for these studies, I like to do this. Obviously I've got my own creative projects that I'm working on. Those toes are really small. So I'm just going to do a look over while I'm kind of getting started here, what I want to work on. This is like definitely overwrought up here. This I was working on last time, so it needs some cleanup. I think I'm just going to look at these people. They're just a little too small. So maybe that's what's been bothering me about them. But yeah, so that's kind of what I have planned for this morning is tweaking one of the things that I've been noticing on it since opening up this morning. The main plan is going to finish these up and then move into some of the head things up here, clean those up. We're working into like a final detail phase, and then go into retopology. I found an interesting new kind of retopology tool called Quad Remesh. It's different. It's not Quad Remesher. It's Quad Remesh, and it works a lot. Apparently, it works a lot like ZBrush. I haven't tried it yet. But it works like the Z Remesher, where you can draw curves on there, you can paint detailed heat maps on it, and that way you can kind of get a more controlled, automatic remeshing. So if I want to make sure there's good topology around the joints or around the neck, and if I want to pose it later on, which I think I do want to do, that will help with that kind of whole process, being able to do that, as opposed to the default ones, which they do give you kind of nice flowing quads, but they're not, you can't control how they end up. So that is the plan here today. Yeah, so I do want to get to the first step once I get all the other steps done. That's something I want to do a bit better. And also the other question I guess is why not ZBrush? And well, actually it's funny because of my university job, I get most bits of technology for free with my job. It's part of one of the perks of my job. I get the Adobe library, including the Substance stuff, and I also get ZBrush and all the Maxon stuff. If I want it, I can get that for free. And then best way to make these be bigger is what else do I get? So I get all that. I get a lot of the software that's quite expensive out there for nothing. So, which is nice. But the reason why I like to use kind of these other software is one, there's a lot going on with alt software, so the non kind of standard software. So think of the standard, it's Maya and it's ZBrush and it's Cinema 4D and it's Adobe, et cetera, et cetera. But there's been a big kind of boost in people making software that does a lot of what those main ones do, and they do it quite well. So like I'm a big fan of the Affinity Suite, and it's a suite of software that basically combines Photoshop, Illustrator, and that's really a lot bigger. Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign into one application. So it has a publishing application within it. But it basically combines those three software packages together, and it's free, and it's really good. And I've been using it for a while, trying to get better at it, because I think with the way things are going with a lot of these software packages, that it's worthwhile to explore options, and including kind of ones that aren't the typical ones, especially when they're really good, like that specific set is. They made it free last fall. Came out I think towards the end of October. Came out version 3, and one thing I don't like is they were required by Canva And so the reason they made it free is they want you to purchase a Canva subscription. It's not required at all, but that's the reason why it's free. You do have to create like a Canva ID to log into it, but that's what's going on with Affinity. And of course, Blender's been making a lot of big strides ever since going to version, I guess 2.8, but really since 4 is when I've really been using it. And so I was kind of relying on some certain plugins to do things, and wanted to kind of back off of them to be able to actually do it myself, understand where things come from and why, and so I think that's kind of helped make a big difference for me. And so that's part of the project this summer. Is I was learning a lot about how material nodes work and how we feel like being bigger like that. They just felt like really kind of dainty before. So slow it down if I zoom out. But um, back and see if I can find that side view shot. So yeah, but that's kind of what I'm. One of the reasons why I like to do this is there are a lot of really good options out there. Being aware of, like I've got Nomad Sculpt on here, which is basically a ZBrush replacement. It doesn't do everything ZBrush does, like that topology thing I like. Over here, that I got with this quad remesh, that basically emulates that. Who put that there? Probably me. There's a number of things that Nomad Sculpt doesn't do that ZBrush does do yet. But they're kind of just gradually getting a lot of those features. It has its own unique ones too that ZBrush doesn't have, like how it has curves and some of the other functionality within it that I like quite a bit that you can't get other places. So, but lately I've been shifting more and more in my own personal work to using more. I prefer the term analog, but most people say traditional media. And I've always done traditional media, but I've usually kind of kept that as like sketchbook explorations or fine art stuff. Kind of kept it kind of over by itself, and but lately I've been kind of revising that that approach. So. Into more of the professional things that I want to do with it, and kind of to a certain degree wishing I'd done that sooner. So, but that is kind of what we have going on. Yeah. Today. So. So yeah, so I get up and spend about an hour and a half every morning working on something. So the time I have now been up for 15 minutes. So yeah, trying to figure out when that would mean I would stop. So 9:45, I guess. So yeah, do let me know if there's any questions. The feet feels much better. Let's see. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to my morning study. Hmm. Good morning, good morning. You're popping in. Sorry, I had my little spiel earlier on just talking about what I'm doing today. Um, let's see. Good morning, good morning. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah. That definitely feels better, kind of increasing the size of that foot. Probably needs a better arch. Pop that up a little bit. Yeah, right. Let's go back over to that front leg. Kind of bring it up to that. Let's see. Pull that out a little bit. There. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. Something here. Let's see. There. Actually, I don't like completion on that. Probably shouldn't focus too much on this stuff, but here we are. Here we are. So that out. Good morning. Welcome to my morning study session. Good morning, good morning. People popping in. I wish I had better shots of it. There we go. There's the better shot of the foot in front. Let's see. Good morning. Let's see. Bring that in. Let's see, what I think is too big. Oops, wrong movement there. Good morning. Welcome to my morning study session. Good morning. Good morning. Where are we here? All right. Where did that come from? All right. Let's see. Let's see. Comes in. Good morning. Good morning. Any Blender heads out there? Let's see. see. Good morning. Let's see. Flatten that out there. Let's see there. Check that out. Let's see. Alright. Foot's feeling better. Well, the leg's feeling better. I don't know about foot, but let's see. Pull a line here. Good morning, good morning. Let's see. Got about 30 minutes left. Let's see. So that's going to come down. Let's see. This is a little more definition in there. that way. Let's see. Good morning. Welcome to my morning study session. Just trying to get some of the form, clarity, and proportions more correct on this foreleg here. So it is right here, but I should rotate it forward. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Do let me know if there's any questions. I don't mind talking while working. I did a lot of talking kind of at the very, very beginning, just talking about what I'm working on here. But I know people come in at different points and different kinds of questions, right? So every morning I like to get up and spend about an hour, hour and a half working on something new or expanding a skill, something like that. And kind of lets me be able to not only use it for myself, but also kind of bring it to my students, whether online at myartprofessor.com or at my university where I teach. And so lately I've been doing a lot of stuff with Blender and wanting to improve certain things about my abilities with it so that I can use it for my projects. And lately that's been what I've been working on. I've done different things, different points, like acrylic painting, perspective drawing, and just areas that I feel like I really need more personal development in. And there's other things like drawing facial expressions. That was a big one for a while. I probably should go back to that one. That would be a good one to kind of revisit where I'm at. So yeah, so that's kind of one of the things I do. So I don't mind, depending on what I'm working on, I come on and live stream it and have conversations with people who have things to share. So. All right, let's see. Here's the front view. Because they spend a lot of time walking in the grass, so I don't always have great views of their feet. Well, I need to go back a little bit. It's a little bit thick through here. Something like that, right? Let's see. Let's see. Good morning. Welcome to my morning study session. Stay on for another like 10-ish minutes, I think. Coming up to the end. But for those coming in, I like to get up every morning and work on something new. Between 7 and 8, I'll get up and then, well, not get up, I'll get online. Get up at like 5 or 5:30. Let's see. Smooth that out. That's what we're working on. Feeling much better. Like, definitely got a lot more clarity on that leg. It's probably still not where it needs to be. But that was a rough in that rounding. Let's see where that goes. What do we think? How's he looking so far? Needs a tail, but legs are feeling much better than they did the other day. Let's see. I appreciate that. So my little study project here. So I think it's good to look at real things, and I do wish I had a little bit better shots of like the feet. Like I have some okay shots, but like these are okay right there. But a little blurry. This one's okay too, I guess. So, but it's coming along. So hopefully get that cleaned up next time. A little bit on the face, I think. Oops, wrong button. This one. But yeah, we're making our way. I've improved some of the proportions on the face. So the ears are a separate model that I haven't touched in a while. But definitely these legs and feet are kind of been the challenge, I think, more than anything. Maybe the hip area here I still haven't quite gotten where I needed to be, but it's closer. So, but yeah, having a good time doing this guy. So we're kind of getting close to where it's kind of mostly there. Once I kind of get it there, then we'll retopologize it, do final details, and get the UVs on it, texture, and then hair. So that's kind of the plan here. But I think that brings us to pretty close to being done for the morning. I've been on for an hour, 25 minutes, or 23. So, yeah, curious to see how the hair would affect it too, because that's like one of the things. I put hair on him, and so I'm curious how that'll affect the sculpt. Because they don't have super thick fur. They're kind of very. I mean, individual hairs are thick, but their body overall doesn't have a lot of hair on it, which is why I went with it. So I could get like that big crest down the back and then some of it on the sides. So that was the thought here. But yeah, so that's where we're at today, and hopefully get a bunch of my creative stuff. We're back in the semester. Classes start for me tomorrow. I just need to go through and verify a few things on in my materials with the paperwork things, and start getting back to my creative projects. So appreciate everybody that came in today, and talk to everybody next time.